Hey everybody, welcome here to Pop Culture Philosophers. It's time for Rockin Robbie Live. How is everybody doing out there? I see a few people in the room already. Bawana, Vista, Dora, Monty, how are you doing? I'm doing something new with the audio, so if the audio is too loud, if it's too soft, just let me know, and I can make adjustments on the fly. How is everybody doing? Joel just jumped in. How are you doing, Joel? Today we'll be talking about this upcoming week's new comic books. What's up? How are you doing? What's up, Shannon? What's up, Adam? How are y'all doing? Oh, thank you. That's awesome. The sound is good. Because it looks like it's like too loud, but I did some testing earlier. Anyway, today we're going to be chatting about comic books, pop culture, movies, television, and a whole lot more. We got a lot of comic books to cover that come out this upcoming week. We'll be taking a look at that, the new comic book day of August 14th, 2019. We'll be having a variety of topics to talk about, and of course, whatever y'all want to talk about. So if you have a question, if you want to know what I think about something, if you want to know if I've read something and what I think about it, just let me know. Thank you so much, Joel. I've been meaning to do something new with the sound for a while, and well, now we're doing it. Yep, the theme of the background today, of course, is Carnage, because Absolute Carnage came out last week, and I thought it was absolutely crazy. I loved it. I thought it was great. So the first question that I want to ask you is, what was your pick of the week last week? There were so many great comic books. I want to know what y'all thought were the best comic books of last week. There were so many good ones. My pick of the week, of course, Doom Patrol Weight of the World's number 2. I was all set for House of X number 2, for Coffin Bound number 1, for Berserker Unbound number 1, for Absolute Carnage, number 1, but it was Doom Patrol, Weight of the Worlds. I loved it. I thought it was wacky, it was wild, it was crazy, it was so much fun. I loved that book. Adam's favorite book says Tie of the Week for Pick of the Week, Immortal Hulk, and Absolute Carnage. Great choices. 2 great books. Immortal Hulk has been on fire. I mentioned this in the weekly pop culture wrap-up this morning, but it has been confirmed that Immortal Hulk does live beyond issue number 25, so that's very exciting news. Pick of the week from Dodora was Dead End Kids. That was a great one. If you were able to find a copy, it was a low print run. A lot of people got into it. I really liked it. I thought it was great. Stand By Me in 1999 in a way. I really, really liked it. I liked it a lot. Joel says Berserker Unbound. That was a great, fantastic comic book. I really, really liked it. Adam likes Doom Patrol and Arrow. I didn't read Arrow number 2. I definitely should have. And yes, that is other Adam. How are both of y'all Adams doing out there tonight? Yeah, IG, we are on a headphone and mic system. I want to make sure that I can hear me if I'm going to use the mic here and not just use the webcam audio, which I had been doing. And I'm pretty sure that this sounds a lot better because I did some testing and it seems like it would sound a lot better. Anyway, but yeah, so we're trying to improve the audio quality on these live streams. Just a whole lot of extra quality here. That's what we're trying. Us Adams are doing great. Turned 31 on Thursday. Well, happy belated birthday. Thank you, IG. Appreciate it. Arrow number 2 was better than issue number 1, says S Squared. Sayokio. I'm very excited to hear that. I skipped out on it because it's just the stack gets bigger and bigger every single week, it seems, right? So, and by the way, S Squared, welcome once again to the live stream here. And welcome, Logan. How are you doing? Thank you very much, Alicia. I really do appreciate that. What was I saying? I was saying something about something. Oh, yeah, I skipped Arrow number 2, but I did like issue number 1. So I definitely need to check it out. Absolutely. Anybody else want to fire off? What was your pick of the week last week? Lots of good books. House of X number 2. Anybody read that? Was that not crazy? That was so crazy. As Dodora says, let's support the channel and hit that thumbs up button. Crush it, if you will. Smash it. All that kind of stuff. I'm doing great, Logan. I've had a great day. Nice day of reflection, relaxation, and just chilling. Thank you, S Squared. Well, once everybody told me that the audio was kind of, I went back and I watched the video a little bit, and I was like, oh, wow, yeah, let's go ahead and do this. So, I mean, we've had the audio set up for a while because we do the podcast, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I also have a blue Yeti microphone somewhere, but I am missing a cord, and I don't know where it is. So, yeah, Logan, that's right. And Joel, yeah. House of X number 2. We don't want to spoil too much just in case people hadn't read it yet. But House of X number 2 changes everything you thought you knew about Moira and changes everything you thought you knew about the X-Men. And again, and Hickman's just been blowing me away, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it so much. Absolutely loving it. It is fire. So I do want to thank everybody that's here supporting the channel, watching the live streams, watching all the videos, hitting the likes, going on Patreon, going over to the PCP Army, all that stuff, Twitter. I really do appreciate it. Y'all just rock. Y'all are the best. Adam says, picked up House of X number 1 and was super confused. Should I just start with Uncanny, then come back to the two new X-Men titles? Adam, to be honest, you don't need to read anything that came before. Most people have a passing familiarity already with the X-Men, it seems, and you don't really need to know what just happened in the X-Men books for Hickman's stuff to either make sense or to not make sense. Hickman's kind of doing his own thing. It's based on a lot of established X-Men lore already. It seems already to be pulling a lot from Grant Morrison. It pulls a lot from Chris Claremont. So that's really cool. But if it was confusing to you, I would just recommend that you read it again. And if that doesn't work, then maybe it's just not a book for you. Maybe you're just not into it. But I absolutely loved it. And I don't think that you have needed... I don't think that it's a requirement. I don't think it's necessary that you have read X-Men for the last several years to jump in on this, because this is a complete change in gear as far as the X-Men goes. It's a big changing of the story and where it's going. Yeah, the dreaded missing chord, right? S Squared, House of X2. Amazing stuff. And yeah, Berserker Unbound because of Lemire. And also, Mike Diodato doing some top-notch artwork. Some of the best stuff I've seen from him in a while. Super, super cool. I love Hickman on Avengers, so I'm just going to keep trying to get the next few issues. Just see what happens, see how it irons out. And I have read each issue multiple times, and it's been beneficial to do so, especially with Powers of 10 number 1. Yeah, right? People like East of West, but House of X is getting even more Hickman. Like, it's probably one of the most Hickman books I've ever seen. Right there with you, though. House of X is just killing it. Anybody else want to jump in with their pick of the week from last week? Jose, what's up? Dead End Kids was very interesting. I really liked it a lot. I hope that Source Point Press, that's who it was, right? I hope they're able to get into a second printing, because I think a lot more people need to be able to have the chance to read that one, because it was really, really good. Yeah, Coffin Bound 1 was crazy, and it does benefit from rereading, absolutely. Before I did my advanced review of that one, I read it like 3 times. And I think I kind of, what I think the book is about is not what I thought after my first read, for sure. It's like a grindhouse version of Sandman, so it's like a grimier, grittier version of Sandman in a way. And I absolutely mean that. East of West for Netflix or Hulu? Well, actually, it's Amazon, isn't it? It's going to be Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime worked out a deal with Jonathan Hickman. He's going to be doing a East of West series and apparently a Transhuman series. So I haven't heard anything new about that in a long time. So some things just get caught in development hell and they never actually happen. So we'll see what happens there, right? But yeah, East of West, Hickman made a big deal with Amazon, as far as I'm aware. If I remember correctly, that's what happened. Tonight I'm drinking the Hot Bursted IPA from Blue Pants Brewery because it's one of our local breweries, and they just announced they're closing shop in like a week or two. So that sucks. That's sad. They do a pinstripe stout that I absolutely love, candy bar, peanut butter. Oh, so good, so good. I'm gonna miss them, but. So tonight I'm having Hot Bursted IPA with respect to Blue Pants. Ignited 3, it's still pretty good. I do like Ignited. Ignited's been one of those ones that I've been thinking about trade waiting, but I feel like it's a book that's not really covered a lot. It's a book that's really not talked about a lot that I see, and I think it's an important book, so I'm going to stick with it. But I like it as well. I absolutely. Have you seen The Boys on Amazon? Blows my mind how amazing it was. I've seen it twice already, so good. I've been hearing so much stuff about The Boys. Drew, member of the Excitable PCP crew, is loving it, and other members of the crew are loving it. And I'm trying to get them to do. I'm trying to get Drew to do a blog or something. I need to talk to him a little bit more about that. Get some thoughts down. Me personally, I don't think I'm gonna watch it. I did not like The Boys comic book at all, and from what I can hear about it, I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's exhilarating. I'm sure it's really fun, but it's just something I'm going to pass on. There's other things I need to check out, but I hear it's really good. I hear it's really, really good. A lot of people are into it right now. I think it's become Amazon's most successful show ever. That's crazy. That's crazy. But I hear good things about it. I really do. Really do. So we're about to start looking at this upcoming week's new comics, the stuff coming out August 14th. I really like it when we get those months where every week, Wednesday, it's a multiple of 7. So 7th, 14th, 21st, 28th. I love that. Anyway, this Wednesday is the 14th. Anybody here watch The Boys? What do you think about it? I'm hearing lots of good things. We're going to start with Dark Horse. So, from Dark Horse, we have Black Hammer Justice League. The second issue is out this week. That's very exciting. I love Black Hammer. I love the Justice League. I love Jeff Lemire. And I'm liking this book so far. We've got Joe Golem, Occult Detective Conjurers, number 4. The Lightstep trade paperback, Orville, New Beginnings, number 2. She Could Fly, Lost Pilot, number 5. That's the final issue of that one. Sword Daughter, number 8. From IDW Publishing, we've got My Little Pony, Spirit of the Forest, number 3. We've got Road of Bones, number 4. The final issue, actually. The ultimate issue. Very excited to see how that one concludes. That one's been a very fun, great book. It's about survival horror. It's about these prisoners that escape a gulag in the 50s in the USSR, and there's cannibalism threats going on. It's pretty cool. There's a supernatural twist to it a little bit. Star Trek Year 5, number 4 is out this week. Star Wars Adventures Annual 2019 is out this week. And Usagi Yojimbo number 3, that's from IDW. S Squared wants me to tell you guys and gals that he loves Sword Daughter. It's a Brian Wood book, isn't it? Robbie, you got me excited about Crone from Dark Horse. Yeah, that's a cool sounding book. It's coming out from Dark Horse. It comes out in November. It's going to be written, I think, by Dennis Culver and artwork by Justin Greenwood. It's a cool sounding idea. It's about this woman who's an older woman, has to come out of retirement to save her kingdoms. Something like that. Save the world. It sounds very exciting. I'm always excited. Dark Horse is doing some really good, nifty stuff right now. Absolutely. I've gotten a look at a book called Everything that's coming out and a book called Triage. I liked Triage better than Everything. Everything had a really cool point to it, but it was a little weird getting there, and it didn't really feel like it just completely got its claws into me. But Triage was really neat and has some wacky parts in the artwork. I really like that one. Miguel says he saw The Boys, and it was one of the best TV shows he's ever seen. We'll look at Dynamite next. Yeah, Gideon Falls is out this week, but don't jump the gun. We're not in Image yet. But it's always a great comic book day when Gideon Falls is out. That's one of my favorite books right now. From Dynamite, we've got James Bond Origin number 12. Red Sonja number 7. And Xena Warrior Princess number 5. Not a lot from IDW, or from Dynamite, I should say. From Boom Studios, we've got Ghosted in LA number 2. I absolutely adored issue number 1 of that book, so I'm really excited about that. Go-Go Power Rangers 22, which has just gotten really good again. And Once and Future number 1, Kieran Gillen, Dan Mora. Heck yeah, let's do it. I'm very excited about this book. I hear lots of really cool things early on. Diamond's already sold through 2 printings of this book, so if you want it, you better let your shop know now and try to snatch it up as soon as you can, because it may be a minute if it sells out at your LCS. All right, so that's Boom, that's Dynamite, that's IDW, that's Dark Horse. So what about some of the smaller publishers? We've got Doctor Who 13th Doctor, number 11 out this week. Infinity 8, number 14. Knights of the Golden Sun. It's a trade paperback. The first trade paperback of the Mad Cave Studios book. Life and Death of Toyo Harada, number 6. That's the final issue. A new one from Humanoids. Omni, number 1, debuts this week. Orphan Age, number 5 from Aftershock. Punk Mambo, number 5. How funny is that? That one's out. That's the final issue from Valiant. Robotech number 23, Second Coming, number 2 is out this week. A new one from Mad Cave, Shows End, number 1. I got an early look at that, but I haven't gotten around to it just yet. From Action Lab, we've got Spencer and Locke 2, the trade paperback. If you haven't read Spencer and Locke, it's like Sin City meets Calvin and Hobbes, and it's awesome. And Wailing Blade number 3. Fantastic book. Rich Dueck's been doing some great work right now, so if you like Road of Bones, check out Wailing Blade. If you like Wailing Blade, check out Road of Bones. If you haven't checked out either of them, you definitely should, especially if you like writers like Garth Ennis and Jason Aaron. I think you really need to check out some of Rich's work. Dark Horse is totally finally turning the corner. Got some nice fresh books, different takes on things, interesting creators. I really, really like it. Really like it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Once and Future as well. That one sounds very cool. Brooke says, The Boys is one of my favorite comic book adaptations ever. Super cool. A lot of people really liking it. That's exciting. Infinity 8 is a French comic book. Oh, how cool is that? I think I read that first issue, but I don't remember anything about it. That picture was cracking me up. What picture? There's a little bit of a delay. I don't know what we were talking about. Does Strayed come out this week? I thought Strayed was supposed to come out this week. Isn't that a Dark Horse book? I don't see it on the list. And I'm on previews. I thought Strayed was supposed to come out because I've heard some stuff about that. Did I miss it? I don't have Strayed on the list. It's a Dark Horse book, right? Wando? Oh, yeah, the punk. Yeah. Old Comics Misexplained over in the PCP Army shared an image he made of the Punk Mambo cover for issue number 5, and it has, what was it, Lou Bega? Was that who the, yeah. Punk Mambo number 5. That's so damn funny. Anyone grabbing Mall number 1 from Vault? I love Mall number 1. I thought it was great. I got an advanced review on the channel right now. So that's very, very exciting. You need to check that out if you want to know what I thought about it, but it comes out at the end of the month. I'm totally getting it. Especially, I'm getting that Blade the Vampire Hunter homage tribute variant cover. Jose says that his shop said it was delayed. What's up, Atari? How are you doing? Yeah, Brooks isn't here. I should get Brooks on another live stream. I'll have to do that soon. We've been talking about it. You can see Brooks right now, though, on the newest episode of Comics Revisited. Maximum Carnage. Me and him talked about Maximum Carnage. And fun video, fun times. Fun comic book to revisit. Absolutely. Let's see what's coming up from Image Comics this week. We've got Analog number 7. We've got Gideon Falls number 16. Very excited for that. Gagor number 4. Hit Girl number 7. Outer Darkness number 9. Oblivion Song 18. A second print of Reaver, in case you missed it, Reaver number 1, and the first print of Reaver number 2 is out this week. That was a really cool book. Rumble number 15 is out this week. Sharky the Bounty Hunter number 5, the penultimate issue. Sonata number 3 is out this week, and Unearthed number 2, and Unnatural number 12, and Warning number 10, and the debut of a 2-issue miniseries, White Trees. Be on the lookout for that one. It's got some hype building behind it amongst the industry. We'll jump over to DC Comics here in just a second. Thank you. I love my Aquaman glass as well. Aquaman's the coolest. Rejected Dead Girl is another hot book. I haven't read that one, but I've seen the Rejected stuff, and I remember when it first came out, it was like a one-shot or something, and it like completely sold through. We had a lot of people asking about it, but I have not checked it out myself. Well, Something is Killing the Children is not out this week, but the final order cutoff is tomorrow. So if you are wanting that, tomorrow's the last day that you have to tell your comic book shop that they can actually get an order in. I have read Something is Killing the Children, #1, and it is absolutely fantastic. I really, really liked it. Some real good, exciting things coming out this week. Russell loves Outer Darkness and Oblivion Song. I need to get caught up on both of those. Roku, The D Ward, Pretty Violent, Bad Reception, Omni. Heck yeah. Punk Mambo #5. Can we just sit back and look at how many comics, not of the big two, that have been made into TV and movies? I never could have guessed it would be like this, sneaking my comics in my geometry book. Absolutely, I get what you're saying, Adam. What's really crazy is that I saw someone say this. I don't remember who it was. It was somebody in the industry on Twitter, and they said that it seems that nowadays comic books are kind of like, almost like as if they're the farm system, right? They're like a gestation chamber for ideas. Excuse me. So it seems like you've got a lot of producers, a lot of studios that are not willing to take a chance or a risk on a new concept or a new idea. But if it's something that is proven to work already, especially in comic books, then they're more likely to adapt it. And I think it's cool. It's really, really neat to see so many indie books get like those kind of TV shows. They don't always work, but it's really cool because in recent memory, I mean, of course, we got The Boys going on right now. We've had, in recent memory, we have Happy, we have Deadly Class, and lots of cool stuff like that. So I'm very, very excited for it. And it's really cool to see some of these independent creators, and since they're creator-owned, then they get that. It's not DC and Marvel making that money, you know. Marv Wolfman didn't make money off the Blade movies. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's really, really cool. I have been reading Isola, and I absolutely love it. It's so good. The artwork is so amazing. I wish it came out a little bit more often. It's easy to kind of get lost in that book, and it's at first, every issue, I read it first, and I'm like, I don't remember what's going on, but then the art just keeps me involved, and then by the end of it, I'm like right back into why I love that book so much. But I do need to do a reread very soon. What's up, Busta? So far this week, looking forward to Second Coming number 2 for sure. I'm interested to see what Omni #1 is going to be doing. Justice League Black Hammer #2, and we're about to start looking at the DC books, but of course also very, very excited and pumped up for Gideon Falls this week. Yeah, Adam, it is like a farm system in a way. You know, like the comic books are the minors, and I guess the TV is like AAA, and then movies are like the majors, right? From DC Comics this week, we've got Batman and the Outsiders #4, Batman Universe #2, Catwoman #14, Collapser #2. I loved Collapser #1. Very excited for issue #2. Detective Comics 1009 is out this week. Event Leviathan #3. Let's see if something happens. Flash #76 is out this week. Now that Flash Year 1's over, I'm excited to see what's going to be going on in the pages of Flash. Hawkman #15, House of Whispers #12, J-Lo #12, that's Justice League Odyssey. Supergirl #33 and Superman 14 are on the list, but what's going to happen is they're actually going to be coming out. They've got an incorrect cover, or I should say they have a cover that promises that they are tied in to the Dark Gifts Year of the Villain thing, but in fact they're actually not. So DC has asked, excuse me, I don't know if you heard that, but DC has asked all retailers to destroy all those copies, not to sell them, and the next week, I believe, they're going to be getting those copies with new covers that don't say that they tie in to Year of the Villain. So some shops are probably going to be trying to sell them, maybe at a premium. Maybe there'll be some people on YouTube already trying to spike those comic prices up. But I will say this, we're not allowed to sell them. We're not allowed to do anything with them. So you won't see me talking about those books this week on the Weekly Comic Book Review. I may make mention that I've read it because I want to read it. I'm going to read it. But I'm not going to be able to sell them or anything like that until next week. So technically, I guess they're not coming out till next week. But if you see them on your shop, at your shop, grab it up because there may be some speculation online just because of the cover or something. But all retailers have been asked to destroy them. But whether or not that's going to happen, we'll see. Titans Burning Rage #1 is out this week. Wonder Woman #76. That concludes our look at DC Comics. Now we'll go over to Marvel, in which absolute carnage is going to absolutely start dominating comic book shelves. It's going to be like taking up the majority of the new releases. Well, absolutely. Let's see. Let's catch up on some comics. Are there some books I can read that will make me like Mark Miller? I just can't get into the majority of his stuff. If you can't get into the majority of Mark Miller's stuff, you may just not like Mark Miller. My favorite Mark Miller books. I'm really liking Space Bandits right now. I think that's pretty cool. I thought Prodigy was pretty decent. Huck is something I really, really like. If you read Huck and you don't like Huck, I don't think you're going to like Mark Miller stuff. I like a lot of his Superman work that he did back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Somewhere around there. I think it's more in the late 90s. I like his Ultimates work. I love his Ultimate X-Men work. I love his Fantastic Four run. I love his Ultimate Fantastic Four run. So those are the ones I like. But if you don't like Huck, I think Huck might be one of his best works. His Authority is okay. S squared. I like Ellis's better. But his Authority is pretty good too. Batman and the Outsiders is underrated. I would agree with that. I think Brian Hill is doing an amazing job with that book. I'm grabbing every cover of I Make Boys Cry. I haven't heard of that one. Yeah, and just ideas. Idea farms, basically. You know what I'm saying? Hollywood looks at comics as ready-made storyboards for movies and just idea farms. Absolutely. You know, you can see if the story works. You can see how the structure of it goes. And obviously movies, television, comic books, 3 completely different mediums, different ways to tell a story, different ways to present it. But yeah, it's like an idea incubator comic books can be. And with comic books, because there's no limit except for the imagination and what an artist can draw, because you don't have to think about budget when you're a comic book writer. You can write whatever ridiculousness you want, and it happens. Yeah, Tommy Gun Wizards looks really cool. I haven't gotten a chance to check it out yet, but I'm looking forward to getting a sneak peek of that. I really hope so. The creative team on Batman and the Outsiders right now is written by Brian Hill, doing a great job, and Dexter Soy is the artist. I really like the art. It's very dynamic, very fun, very stylized. Oh, yes, Adam, I do. I am the store manager of a comic book shop. Yeah, Absolute Carnage is absolutely going to rule the market. A lot of people are, like, Donny Cates is a lot of people's favorite writer right now. I think he's doing a great job, and I love his Venom work, and I love the build-up to this. Really fun stuff. As you can see, I'm a Carnage fan. The Millerverse. Everything is moving his words. Netflix. Everything he's doing is pretty much Netflix. You know, Mark Miller is an idea incubator right now for Netflix. They've got the rights to all of his stuff except for, like, Kick-Ass, Hit Girl, Chrononauts. I believe they don't have that. I don't think they have, yeah, and of course Kingsman. The Ultimates was amazing, but outside of that, Miller is just super mediocre to me. I'm not the hugest Miller fan myself. I think some of his stuff is all right. I really liked his superhero stuff. I thought that was neat. As far as his creator-owned stuff, to me, it just seems like he takes a already popular movie and merges it with superheroes. Superior is Big meets superheroes. Super Crooks is Ocean's 11 meets superheroes. In a way, Huck is even Forrest Gump meets superheroes. But I really think that Huck has a lot of heart, and that's something that's missing out of a lot of Miller's work. Is to me is heart. I feel like it's a very cynical approach, but it's almost. I like writers that have a cynical approach. Warren Ellis is one of them, especially towards superheroes. But Mark Miller's, I don't know, his approach is just, there's something mean about it in a way. Jose likes Magic Order. I know a lot of people like that one. I read the first couple issues, fell out of it. I would recommend Huck, though, Brian. Pretty sure it was Brian that asked me that, right? What's up, Brooke? Thank you for commenting. Hamburger Basket, how you doing? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for responding to it. And let's go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, everybody, if you haven't already. We really appreciate the support. Just finished Road of Bones #1. Thought it was super interesting. Definitely read 2 and 3 because 2 really takes that story to the next level. Issue #1 was a good setup, but it probably could have been double-sized to really hook us in more. Excuse me. But issue #2 is really cool, and 3 is off the wall. I cannot wait for 4. Cannot wait for 4. From Marvel Comics this week, speaking of Absolute Carnage Scream, number 1, and Absolute Carnage Separation Anxiety, number 1. Very excited for this. I am totally going to get all of these Absolute Carnage one-shots and miniseries and things like that. I am obsessed with this idea. Age of Conan Valeria, number 1, is out this week. The Amazing Spider-Man 27 is out this week. Captain Marvel, number 9, continuing the new character of Star. Lots of movement on issue number 8, so number 9 out this week. Conan the Barbarian Exodus, which is kind of like a one-shot that's like a year 1 Conan type thing, is out this week. Doctor Strange, number 17. Fantastic Four, number 13. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, number 10. Gwenpool Strikes Back, number 1. Never liked Gwenpool until Kelly Thompson put her in West Coast Avengers, and I absolutely loved it. Invaders, number 8, is out this week. Ironheart, number 9. Loki, number 2. Miles Morales, Spider-Man, number 9. Powers of 10, number 2. Very excited. I mean, come on. We're all excited about Hickman on X-Men stuff right now. What's he going to do this time? Punisher Kill Crew finally debuts this week, issue number 1. It's going to have artwork by Juan Ferreira. It's going to be super cool. Be on the lookout for that. Silver Surfer Black number 3 is out this week. Silver Surfer Prodigal Son, continuing on the story from the Fantastic Four Prodigal Son one-shot. Star Wars Target Vader number 2. Swordmaster number 2. Symbiote Spider-Man number 5, the final issue. Unbeatable Squirrel Girl number 47. War of the Realms hits trade paperback, a second printing of Wolverine vs. Blade, and a facsimile edition of X Factor number 87. Marvel has a lot on shelves this week. Out of that, I'm very excited about Powers of 10, number 2, and, of course, the Absolute Carnage tie-ins. Knocking stuff over. Oh, Stegman Stammen on the first issue. Apparently, they've been working on Absolute Carnage number 1 for like 6 months, and it's 3 full issues of comic book. It's 60 pages of Stegman doing the best artwork of his career. He knows all eyes are on him. He knows what he's doing. Cates knows the same thing. Very excited. Very excited. I really feel like people will become overwhelmed with the symbiote trend like variant overload. Oh, of course. Marvel's really good at variant overload, are they not? They're really good at that. Yeah, I'm going to keep on. No, not every issue of Absolute Carnage is not going to be as big as the first issue. It's going to be 5 issues long. Originally, it was going to be 4. It's been extended to 5 issues, with the 5th issue coming out in November. Some of the issues, I believe, are mostly going to be $4.99, so they're probably going to be 30 to 40 pages. Wicca. Yeah, I always wanted to DJ. I always wanted to do that, but I was always more of an MC. Absolute Carnage is going to be a War of the Realms type thing, as far as the idea that it's a big event with a main series and a lot of tie-ins. So it's going to be something like that. I think it's going to be better. I hope that the tie-ins are better. I'm more excited for this. I like War of the Realms. I thought it was good. The main series, but I did not care for pretty much any of the tie-ins. So I'm really hoping to see a little bit different action from Absolute Carnage. No, Brooke, I did not make a video about House of X number 2. I actually thought about it. I was like, I should be making videos about each issue of this and really like getting into it and talking about it. But I missed out on that. I am thinking though about doing a video, maybe having Brooks. Brooks is a longtime X-Men fan. I've been thinking about having him in, maybe even Jelani, just having kind of like a roundtable discussion about it. What's up, Jay Nunya? These Savage Shores wraps up this month. I'm very excited for whenever this book finally comes out. I don't think it's this month though. There's not an official date for it yet. It's been running a little bit behind. Rom usually sends me a copy a few weeks before it comes out. So as soon as I know 100% what the date of These Savage Shores number 5 is, I will let y'all know. But my thoughts on House of X number 2 was, wow, and that's crazy, and that's awesome. I thought it was fantastic. Google Red Sonja, Birth of She-Devil #2, Perillo cover, and Serena Williams Bizarre magazine cover. They're exactly the same. Who did the, okay. A lot of that going on nowadays. People taking images and basically kind of recreating them, or even just lightboxing over them in a way. Well, I hope the Gwenpool comic is good, but we'll see. Brooke is not super into Hickman's X take so far, but trying to keep an open mind. That's a good thing to do. Keep an open mind, and you're not supposed to like everything, and that's okay. Savage Swords has been amazing, Jose says. So we talked about this a little bit earlier, but I did get an advanced look yesterday at Something is Killing the Children #1. It's a new comic book coming out from Boom in September. It's written by James Tynion IV with artwork by Werther Del Edera. Absolutely loved it. If you're a horror fan, you're going to be into it. Really cool stuff. I really liked it. It was chilling. It was scary. It had a great suspenseful sense of pace. It had this beautiful sense of foreboding dread. Just fantastic. I absolutely loved it. If you like horror comic books, I cannot recommend enough that you check out Something is Killing the Children #1. Final order cutoff is tomorrow. So let your shops know you want it, because I guarantee you I will be recommending it on the weekly comic book review. I have not been reading The Goon. I'm so far behind on the Goon that I really need to get caught up. Just need to do a big read-through, and now that Albatross has all the Goon stuff back, they've been releasing these omnibus editions, and I'm thinking about getting some and getting caught up. Savage Avengers is your new guilty pleasure. Well, it's a good one to have for a guilty pleasure. Hamburger Basket says, my LCS needs to order more Vault. Have you let them know? Have you told them we need more Vault on the shelf? Sometimes, especially with smaller companies, sometimes shops are really scared because they can't necessarily afford to leave things laying around on the shelves, right? That being said, I will say this, as a retailer, Vault has been doing pretty much full returnability on their issue #1s for the entire summer. So that's good, because it allows shops to be able to order a bunch for the shelf and see how it goes, how it does. It can fumble some numbers between issues 2 and 3, but Vault does a lot of solid work, and if your shop doesn't do that, the first thing you can do is pre-order it. Let them know, like, hey, sub me up for this. Wasted Space or She Said Destroy or whatever, right? You can do that. And by doing that, they should be able to get you a copy. And the more people that do that, the more they're like, if these people want it, maybe other people will. Maybe we should stock it for the shelves. At my shop, we stock Vault. I have a Vault section. My homie, Jay Sandlin, came in to grab up some Vault stuff, and he was like, whoa, you got a whole section? I was like, yep, and he bought almost everything we had. You'll be seeing some stuff from him coming up from Mad Cave Studios soon. Hopefully we can get him on the show sometime. They did something funky with issue #4 with the Goon. Wasn't a big fan of issue 5 coming out first. I heard that there was some kind of delay in the production or the shipment of it, and that 5 actually came out before 4. I didn't even notice that. Brett, I'm right there with you. Vault and Boom are killing it. Dark Horse is creeping up right now, too. IDW's got more decent titles, kind of like Kanto, Road of Bones. The indie scene is really fire right now. My LCS has really been picking up some smaller batch books lately. That's awesome. That's really good, because that's the future of the industry. And that's some of the best work you're going to get, because it's people not writing for a corporation. It's not just, a job. It's the story that they have put their heart, mind, and soul into it, right? Sometimes their body. Sometimes they bleed for these things. It's a real thing. I got a paper cut right now. Comic industry's rough. It is a great time for indies. Oh, Logan, I'm right there with you. I'm super pumped for Basketful of Heads, and I'm super pumped for all of the Hill House books. I love horror, and I'm really excited to see DC Black Label go into a direction that's not just Batman and Joker and Harley Quinn. I was speculating the House of M comics to take off because of the House of X and Powers of 10, but if the title of Powers of 10 is 10, then I'm referring to the X-Men as 10 Men. Well, having read House of X 1 and 2 and Powers of 10 #1, it makes total sense why it's Powers of 10, doesn't it? It is it is a golden age for indie comics. There's some great stuff out there and great people that are making those books. As great as comic books are, the creators are even better most times, I find out. That's cool that the Goon stories are basically one-shots. Maybe I do just need to keep reading them then, because I have this, like most of us, I got this completist type thing. Like, I got to get caught up on, 10 plus, 15 plus years of the Goon. But I should. I do like Eric Powell. I really like him a lot. You don't have pulls at your LCS? Like, you don't have a pull list, or they don't offer a pull list, Hamburger? What's up, Perry Comics? How are you doing? I see you. I see it. I see you. Brian, I'm so happy to talk to you about Cult Classic. So Elliot Rahal is an absolutely amazing comic book writer. He's written a book that you should totally check out if you never had, called Hot Lunch Special. It came out last year from Aftershock. It's fantastic. It's so good. Elliot Rahal, Cult Classic is kind of like a shared universe of horror stories, right? So he did the first one. It's called Return to Whisper, okay? And only 2 issues of that came out, and it's been delayed, right? But now it's coming back. So they just released a second printing of issue #1 that had a homage cover to one of those EC comics with the head, holding the decapitated head there. Famous cover. Oh, yeah, so if you like Hot Lunch Special, then yeah, you should check out Cult Classic. So Return to Whisper is finally coming back out and wrapping up. It's kind of got an It-type vibe to it, meaning that it's a group of kids, and then it's about what happened to them when they were kids, and then something even crazier that happens to them as adults, right? So it's kind of like It in a way like that, right? Thank you, Dodora. Hit that like button, everybody. So Return to Whisper was the first one. Creature Feature is going to be the next one. So as Return to Whisper is wrapping up, Creature Feature is going to start. And the idea is that this is a cultivated, shared universe of creepy, cool, sci-fi, spooky horror comics. And I think that's super cool. So I'm down for Cult Classic, and I'm so excited that it's coming back. I think Elliot Rahal is an absolute fantastic talent. He's got a book coming out from Aftershock called Midnight Vista, I believe. I'm really looking forward to checking that one out, because it's about an abduction experience that him and I think maybe his stepfather, or maybe that's just in the story, but it's based on a real thing that happened to him, and him trying to work it out and get it out. And that's a really brave thing to do, because abduction experiences are easily, especially in the day of the internet, are easily laughable, right? And people can make fun of it, but this is sharing an experience, and you can't. We're not gonna get too crazy into it, right? But alien abduction experiences happen, right? And these are things that people deal with. And what is it? Who knows, right? We all have our ideas about that. But I'm really, really looking forward to that one. You like to jump around a lot with titles, but you've had bad experiences with your local comic shop and pulls. It drives you crazy how they underorder X-Men currently. Wow, that's crazy. My shop does not underorder. We have plenty of copies. If you ever lack access to a comic book, just let us know. We'll take care of it. My favorite cover for Absolute Carnage was the A cover. That one right there. The Stegman cover. I love it. I really like that Hulk cover, too. That kind of looked cool. I like the colors behind it. The green and the orange. I liked it. Yeah, Dead Rabbit's returning soon as Dead Eyes. So that's cool. Pre-orders are... I know that sometimes it seems like it's putting the responsibility on the consumer. And who knows, like, how are you supposed to know if you want to read this book, right? Hopefully you can check out advanced reviews of people that can do it within the right amount of time to get it ordered. But, it is a risk for shops, and pre-orders help them gauge that risk. But ultimately, it is on the shops to stock a variety of things for people to consume. But pre-orders help, and it at least lets somebody pay attention, especially if it's a newer title. There may be some retailers out there who Vault is still not something they really think too much about because it's kind of buried in the back of a previews, right? Hickman enjoys giving clues. Just look at the upcoming books by week, and some of them are highlighted in red. Yeah, we had a discussion at my shop this week about what that means. And if you look at, for instance, the first one that was highlighted in red was issue number 2 of House of X, and then look how big of a deal that issue was. So there you go. What do comic shops think about trade waiters? We love trade waiters. We love them. We sell comic books. We sell graphic novels. I love them. I think they're fantastic. That's great. I would rather have someone trade waiting than someone who signs up for 20 books a month that they're not going to buy. You know what I'm saying? Trade waiting is a great thing. Graphic novel sales are a great thing. It's a great way to consume the product. It's a great way to sell the product. We love trade waiters. We love anybody who reads comic books in any form. I feel like the X-Men wasn't very good before. Obviously, the new book is fantastic, but I feel like it's been boring for a long time. Yeah, Busta, I agree with you. Absolutely. A lot of people agree with you, too. Some people really like the Rosenberg run. I thought it started off pretty strong. I think it's had its ups and downs over the last few years, but I have not been this excited about the X-Men personally since Grant Morrison was on the title, and I loved Grant Morrison's new X-Men. I have not seen so much discussion and so much excitement at my shop about the X-Men books since New X-Men by Grant Morrison. And yes, I am that old. I worked at a comic shop and ran my own comic shop, actually, when New X-Men was being released by Grant Morrison. So yeah, I have not seen excitement about the X-Men on this level since New X-Men. It's a big deal. Fantastic stuff. And yeah, I agree. I feel like it was boring. Even the stuff that was decent of the recent years, like I love the Uncanny X-Force run by Rick Remender. I think that's amazing. The X-Force run before that was good. The Second Coming, Messiah Complex, that stuff was interesting, but it just like a lot of 90s X-Men threads, like the Legacy Virus or the 12 or anything like that, it ultimately builds up, and goes nowhere, right? And I don't think Hickman's book is going to go nowhere. It's going somewhere. Whether you like it or not, that's up to you, but it's definitely going somewhere. I'm very excited. I think Hickman in 3 issues has just revitalized the X-Men in an amazing way. No, MN, I don't. I don't think Rosenberg is going to harbor any resentment to Marvel because he's still working for Marvel, still doing great work at Marvel, including The Punisher, and him, and even Kelly Thompson and Ed Brisson, all those cats, they knew that Hickman was coming on. This has been in the works for a while. They knew what they were doing. They knew how long they had. I think that's one of the reasons why they were able to go so gung-ho with it. Rosenberg brought out all of his favorite stuff and just played around with it. He knew what was up. It's not like a Bendis coming on to the Superman book type situation where Bendis coming on and taking over Superman interrupted what was going on. They knew Hickman was coming on, and they knew when it was going to be able to happen. They wanted it to be done and ready, and so it's more like they knew what was going on. They were not to say that they were placeholders, because I don't want to disrespect them and their talent or their run. Because I think like Kelly Thompson did amazing work on Mr. and Mrs. X. Ed Brisson did great work on X-Force and Extermination. And Rosenberg did some great work on Uncanny X-Men, especially at first when he took over solo. But it's Hickman is another level, and it's another level of pushing the X-Men forward and knowing that something big was about to happen. Just being able to tell some fun, nostalgic-driven X stories. That's pretty much what Rosenberg and company did. The Absolute Carnage variant with the Devil Goblin on the cover is a female. Just found out. Yeah, I saw that. I noticed that. I was like, ooh, Demi-Goblin is now female? It's a woman? I'm interested to see how that's going to turn. Why? What's going on with that? I'm interested to find out. Demi-Goblin's a great character. If you liked Maximum Carnage back in the day, yeah, he was a big part of that. Hopefully this take on Eddie Brock continues after Absolute Carnage. He is so guilty and grief-stricken. Yeah, he's filled with guilt and grief, and he's working on it. And I think that's the most important thing. And it's a book that's dealing with codependency. And it's also a book now that's dealing into some new interesting territory with him having a son. Kate is planning on doing Venom for a while, so I don't think we have anything to worry about there. Regardless of what you think about the Hickman X-Men run so far, at least it's trying something new. Most of the big two books over the last couple years have been rehashing a lot of the same ideas. I'm right there with you, Brooke. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Hickman's got a plan, Kanye, for the X-Men, and I'm very excited to see it unfold. Now, come October, once House of X, Powers of 10, once that wraps up and Hickman's on X-Men, and then there's all the other books, New Mutants, Excalibur, Marauders, some of those may not quite live up to Hickman stuff, right? Some of them may appeal to certain people, some of them may appeal to other people. That's where it's going to start getting a little bit more, but I think the Hickman stuff is just going to just keep coasting up. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. What's up, Enrique? New to comics. Congratulations. You have so much good, awesome stuff to read. Glad you're liking the new X-Men stuff. Heck yeah. X-Men's are great stuff. I would recommend going back and checking out the new X-Men stuff by Grant Morrison. That's some great stuff too. But there's so many great comic books out there. I'm envious of you because you get to read them for the first time. Not sure where I heard it, but I'm pretty sure Hickman would be on X-Men for at least the next 3 years. I've heard the same thing, pretty much. I think I got that from an interview he did. My concern with X-Men is they advertise X-Men is going to be revamped, but once they're done with House of X, Powers of 10, they'll go back to the old ways with tons of X. Well, they're going to go back to tons of ways with X-Men books. Absolutely. There's tons of Spider-Man books, there's going to be tons of Superman books, tons of Batman books, tons of Justice League books, whatever works, right? If it sells, it sells. It's not a new thing to have a bunch of different teams in the X-Men. The cool thing about it is that you're going to have Hickman as the architect, and he's going to have his flagship book that's the cornerstone of the X universe. You're going to have all these other things that take some of these ideas and do their own twists on it, or do their own things with their own new characters, right? So what it is, you know, if you like it, but you don't have to read it. If you don't like it, you can just keep reading the Hickman stuff, and we'll see what happens, right? Yeah, I get it. I get it. But don't think that you have to buy everything with an X on it. If you like the Hickman X-Men stuff, all you got to do is buy everything with an X on it that has Hickman's name on it. Yeah, I totally did read the Dracula storyline in Avengers prior to War of the Realms. I loved it. I loved the spotlight on Blade, and it's going to build up into something further, and I'm very excited for that. I think Dracula and Blade are two of my favorite characters in the Marvel Universe. Tomb of Dracula, the Marv Wolfman series that had a lot of artwork by Gene Colan. It's one of my favorite comic book series of all times, and I'm very, very excited to see a little bit more of a spotlight put on them, because in recent years, when Blade and Dracula have been used, it's not been the best for me, I think. Where did I get that sweet 12-inch Carnage right there? What's a 10-inch Carnage, I believe, but I got it at my local comic book shop. You know, and one of the cool things about working at a shop is when people trade stuff in or sell it, you kind of got like first dibs. You know, unless it's something someone was already wanting. And, yeah, everybody at the shop knows that if it's Toy Biz and it's Marvel or DC, yeah, I get to take a look. But I absolutely love the Toy Biz figures, especially the Marvel stuff from the 90s. And I love these 10-inch figures because they're big and you can see them clear in the background. This tiny little figure right there is the same figure as that. This is bigger. You can see more of it. It's really cool. Really fun stuff. I'm a big fan of 90s Toy Biz Marvel figures. So if they come into my shop, I'm pretty much going to get them. I also buy a lot of them online, too. I like Hickman because he's pushing the envelope. Absolutely, Logan. I get exactly what you're saying. Yeah, I'm really pumped to see the Avengers move on with the Ghost Rider stuff. Very excited for that. I think Ghost Rider is a character that has been severely underutilized in comic books lately. So that's going to be super cool. And there's a lot of Ghost Riders. There's a lot you can do with those characters, right? As a DC guy living in a Marvel world, I can't help but think of the possibilities of what Hickman could do at DC's currently muddy continuity. I'm a big comic book guy. I like both Marvel and DC. I wouldn't say DC continuity is muddy at all. I think it's actually a little bit more clear nowadays than it has been in the recent past, especially. Hickman wants to do work at DC though, and he will. He will one day, and I guarantee you, one day Hickman's going to do a Legion of Superheroes run, and I hope it finally gets me super excited about Legion of Superheroes. Though there is a run by Keith Giffen that Dennis Camp was telling me about, and I got some of the first issues over there to read because he told me that he really thought I'd like those ones. It was like the stuff that started in like 1989, but Legion stuff has never really like spoken to me so much. But Hickman loves the Legion of Superheroes, and he wants to do it so bad. And most of us believe that Hickman was set to do Legion of Superheroes, and then Doomsday Clock, that kind of went on way longer than they thought it was going to go. And who knows what Jeff Johns is doing? I think Jeff Johns is like sitting in a room with all kinds of like notes and like thumbtacks and string all around, connecting Doomsday Clock and Watchmen and Rorschach and Dr. Manhattan to every single thing ever. I think he's gone a little into it, maybe. But we'll see what happens. You know, Hamburger, a lot of people would say that they predict tough times ahead for DC because they have shrunken their publishing line. I think that DC's doing better right now than Marvel's doing. Marvel has too many books out there. They're gluttoning the market, if you will. And I'm not just talking about the tie-ins. I'm just talking about when I was reading over what's coming out this week. Look at how many Marvel comic books were coming out. They're trying to saturate the market. They will eventually be oversaturated if it's not already. This is something that we've seen happen already in the 90s. I think Marvel needs to take a step back. I think DC's got kind of the right idea. The other thing I love about DC, and they've always been better at this than Marvel, is that DC's very good at diversifying their line. They don't just market towards, 20 to 30-year-old dudes that read superhero comic books. They do a lot more stuff. And that's why I'm very excited to see Black Label start having some fantasy work, start having some horror work, start having some things outside of Batman and Joker and Harley Quinn. Of course, we're going to still have that. But I think it's really cool to see the line-wide shift. And they do a lot of all ages and young readers and middle school work and stuff. So that's really, really cool. Like Brooke says, DC continuity is definitely the clearest and most concise it's ever been, in my opinion. Absolutely. That's why they do a crisis event every once in a while. They got to clear it out, right? And yeah, Jose, I'm right there with you. DC does better with the variants. I think so. They don't really get gung-ho and crazy about incentives. They don't really do a whole lot of... Marvel all the time is like, oh, if you guys want this cover, you're going to have to take this one book that you didn't sell too well, and you're going to have to order more of it than you did of this. And it's just... DC's like, hey, we got this variant. Super cool. You can order as many as you want. And at least at my shop, the consumers are loving the DC variants. Much more so than the Marvel ones, especially even the Marvel incentives. Love that Apocalypse is on the new Excalibur team. Hope the story is cool. Tini Howard's doing that one, so I have hope. I'm nervous about Apocalypse being there. I want to see how that's going to work out. I love Apocalypse, and I want to see Hickman get a hold of him, and I can't wait. I can't wait to really see Hickman be able to sink his teeth into Apocalypse. But man, there you go. I always thought, before Snyder came on, I thought Hickman should come on and do Justice League. I'd like to see Hickman do Superman. I think Hickman would do great with Green Lantern. I think he would do great with any DC property, and I'm very excited because one day he's going to do it. But right now, he's focused on X-Men, and so am I. Very excited. But he will definitely be doing a Legion of Superheroes book one day. I guarantee it. Batman's one of our top sellers, too. Marvel is oversaturated. Absolutely. Oh, I love the new Deceased. I thought it was great. I've been loving that book so much. I've been loving it, thinking it was great. So, coming up very soon, we're going to have an advanced review. We were already talking a little bit about Maul #1. It's a new book by Michael Morisi. Gary Doberman was the screenwriter behind some of the Annabelle films and the new It films and stuff like that. They're doing a book called The Plot. And The Plot #1. I have read this book, and I absolutely love it. It was great. Maul #1 is cool. It's like post-apocalyptic type thing. But The Plot is straight up a true horror comic book. It's scary, it's dark, it's deep, it's dark. It makes you feel like The Haunting of Hill House in a way. It's got a great tone to it, a great theme, and that's basically what I'm going to be saying on my advanced review when it releases later this week, early next week. I was going to do it this week, and then I realized, it's way too early. I can't do it yet. But it's coming soon. So I'm really excited about The Plot #1. It's such a great book. Joshua Hickson on the artwork. You got Tim Daniel and Michael Morisi on the script. Really good stuff. Really great stuff. Yeah, and The Plot #1 variant Swamp Thing fans, be on the lookout. I think Bendis' Moon Knight is all right. My favorite part about it is Alex Maleev's artwork, but I thought the run was all right. I would recommend, as far as Moon Knight goes, I would recommend more of the Warren Ellis run and the Brian Wood run that follows it. And then the Jeff Lemire stuff. That's good too. Yeah, Marvel is doing a lot of things that inflate the success of their titles. Just because you sold so many copies of a book because you had all these different variants and you made a deal with like Nerd Block or whatever subscription, whatever it is, doesn't mean that it's not just sitting there on a comic book shelf collecting dust, staying in a warehouse for years and years until it can be sold. It hurts me too, Logan, when I hear about a comic shop closing. Sometimes, though, it has nothing to do with the industry and it's just bad business practices, but sometimes it's not. But a big problem is customers that don't pick up their pull list. It happens, and it's being in the industry. It's definitely something that happens more than you would think it does. It's a major issue, and I think maybe we just should all crack down more on it. But people get their feelings hurt when you're like, no, we closed your box because you didn't pick it up. People come in, they're expecting to get their stuff, and I don't know. It's a weird thing, but y'all, from the straight up from me, if you want a comic book, pre-order it, right? But buy the stuff you order. Buy the stuff you order. Don't just leave it there. And if something happens, and say you get, your life gets hit, something happens, right? Life happens. Let them know. They're not going to get mad at you. They're going to be more happy that you say, hey, things have gotten a little hectic for me in my life. Let's put a hold on my pools. Then if you just didn't show up and then it gets so big that you never want to go back there because you're embarrassed that you got hundreds of dollars sitting there. I get it. There you go. It just happens. What's up, Jesse? How you doing? So I'm super excited to be talking about the plot coming up. Now we're about to get into the question of the week. The question of the week is, what is your favorite animated series of all time? What is your favorite animated series of all time? Let's have a brief discussion here. Then we're going to do a little bit of show and tell, and then we'll be wrapping up. I have this whole new thing. I just got a complete collection of the Jurassic Park trading cards, and I was going to show them off tonight. They're not in the room. They're out in the kitchen of all places. Just picked up the Die trade this weekend. Thoughts? I don't have too many thoughts about it. I read the first couple issues. I liked it. I wasn't completely getting into it because I'm not big into RPGs or anything like that. So I decided to trade weight it. So now it's time for me to put my money where my mouth is and wait and trade read because waiting for it's done now, right? Jesse says his favorite animated series is G.I. Joe. Logan says G-Force. S Squared says American. Oh, sure. It can be an American animated series or French or British or whatever. What is your favorite animated series? I don't care. A link popped up 3 hours ago on my news feed of Hickman responding to plagiarism comments. Yeah, that's the thing. There's a novel. I can't remember who wrote it or what the novel's name was. It's a novel that Hickman has admitted to reading, and it has the same idea of a Groundhog Day thing like that. But it's not an original story plot device. But Hickman had to say some stuff. Brett says Battle of the Planets. Slime says Simpsons, but the first 8 seasons only. I get exactly what you're saying there. Brooks says maybe Avatar The Last Airbender. I hear great things about that series, but I've never read it. Jesse says X-Men was good. Which one? The one from the 90s? That one? That's difficult, Jose says. Going to go with Voltron, Lion Force. Even though you wrote Loin Force, I think that sounds great. Eddie says Batman the Animated Series. That's my answer. I mean, I don't think it gets much better than that. There's tons I love, but Batman the Animated Series is pretty solid for me. The Real Ghostbusters. Heck yeah. Cowboy Bebop. Great one. Spawn on HBO. The best Spawn story ever, in my opinion. Batman and X-Men up there as well, Brooks says. Masters of the Universe. Heck yeah. Love me some Masters of the Universe. Love me some Silverhawks as well. Love me Silverhawks. What else do I love? I love that Fantastic Four animated series from the 60s. I love that one. Care Bears. What about Care Bears? Care Bears is awesome. Star Blazers. Metalocalypse. Gargoyles. Heck yeah. Rick and Morty. That's a great one. I'm so excited for season 4. Yeah, I definitely need to check out the Avatar stuff. I've always wanted to. DuckTales. Woohoo! Is fantastic. DuckTales, Chippendales Rescue Rangers, Darkwing Duck, Tailspin. Come on. Space Ghost. Mask. I remember liking this show, but those toys. Oh my goodness, the Mask toys. We have right now the at work we have the headquarters, the Boulder Mountain or whatever. I want it so much. But it's expensive. So if you want to help me get it, you can donate some money to the channel right now and help us get a Mask playset. Just kidding. But you can donate to the channel. You can totally do that. Conan the Adventurer. I don't remember that animated series. Do you guys remember the Rambo one or the Karate Kid one? Denver, the last dinosaur. Heck yeah. Mask toys are the shiznit, dude. They are so freaking awesome. You know what else is a great toy line? Dino Riders. I don't have any Dino Riders. I want Dino Riders so much. They're so expensive. Bucky O'Hare. Heck yeah. Haven't checked out the most recent season of Young Justice, but I've watched of it. It's phenomenal. Easily one of the best Western animated series I've ever seen. There you go. Heck yeah. There you go. Nice responses. Y'all have some good answers. Samurai Jack. Samurai Jack Dodor is amazing. What's up, Whole Shoe? Yeah, we need to get some Dino Riders, homie. Let's do it. Super Friends. I'm a big Super Friends fan. My favorite Super Friends is Challenge, right, followed very closely by Galactic Guardians. Thundercats. How's nobody said Thundercats yet? Some great answers. Great answers. Ultraman on Netflix. I haven't checked that out. The animated one? I haven't checked that out. I watched some of the live action Ultraman stuff. It's fun. I'm a big Super Sentai fan, so I like, was it Tokusatsu or whatever? I really like that stuff. Case Closed or Detective Conan as well. If we're going to, yeah, reboot, but it was CG. Yeah, but that's animated, right? Reboot. Fun stuff. Yeah, I didn't see the revival of Samurai Jack, but I love the old school Samurai Jack. Visionaries. Is that what you're talking about, John? You're talking about Visionaries? You're talking about Supernaturals. Both of them had holograms in them, and they were both awesome, but I like Supernaturals better. But you're probably thinking of one of those two. G-Force. She-Ra. Jesse, I love She-Ra. I've heard the new She-Ra is actually really good. I like it. Yeah, John, Supernaturals. They all have those like dudes in the hoods, and I loved me some Supernaturals. Visionaries is cool. I like Visionaries too. Supernaturals is amazing. Oh my God, I want some Supernaturals figures. The cat that was at the expo right behind us, my buddy Chris, he had some Supernaturals, and I didn't get them though because I got that Crash Test Dummies play set instead. He had some amazing retro figures. Voltron. Yeah, that Thundercats reboot was awesome. It sucks that they did. The Inhumanoids. Anybody remember Centurions? Or Bionic 6? Bionic 6. Snorks. When I was a kid, I loved Snorks and Shirt Tails and the Wuzzles. I loved them so much. I still play the Wuzzles at the comic shop today. No kidding. Old school Speed Racer. Centurions, yeah. I like the first season of the new She-Ra, but it progressively gets worse. That's not too cool. Fell in love with Venom thanks to the animated series. Which one? The one from the 90s? Used to love it. SWAT Cats. SWAT Cats. Well, I used to like the Aladdin animated series a lot. Inspector Gadget was a favorite of mine as a kid. Absolutely. Oh, what else we listen? Yeah, Spider-Man. Yeah, it's good stuff. Johnny Quest. Turbo Teens. That's some great answers. Yeah. The Centurions also had amazing action figures. I loved them. I still want them today. We had one at the Deep, but it was Ace McCloud, but he didn't have any of his gear. He had his helmet, but he didn't have any of the gear. And it's just not good for me. G.I. Joe Transformers. G.I. Joe Transformers is actually really good and holds up. Mighty Might Tor. Whoa, what about like Herculoids? What about Wacky Races? I love Wacky Races. I loved the Flintstones growing up. Mission Hill's great early adult swim show. Heck yeah. All right, we're about to be getting into show and tell, but I want to let everybody know that you can join the PCP Army. It's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, hop on over and find the PCP Army and join up with us. Chat about comic books, pop culture, and a whole lot more with me, other members of the excitable PCP crew, our friends, fans, and followers. Pup named Scooby-Doo. Oh, yeah. That's a good one. I used to watch that all the time. Spawn the animated series is better than the comic book, in my opinion. I'd be fine with modernized Centurions action figures without a cartoon. I'd be cool with that too, but why not? Why not? Why not? Let's give it another cartoon. Come on. Let's do it. Let's just do it. Anyway, so the PCP Army on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter if you're at Twitter at the Rockin Robbie. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/PCP. You can help support this channel. Unlock exclusive content. We do it every once in a while. Early access to things like Comics Revisited. Which I got to tell you, Comics Revisited. The next episode comes out this week, and it's all about Maxwell's Demons. That's right. So you Vault heads out there, we're covering our first Vault comic on Comics Revisited. Me and Brian Weaver talking about Maxwell's Demons, trying to get into the nitty-gritty of it this Thursday morning. So be on the lookout for that. If you're on Patreon, you already have access to it. So that's super, super cool. So thank you guys so much for your support. We're about to get into the show and tell. When is Hasbro going to come out with some revamped Legend-style G.I. Joes? I don't know, Brooke, but they need to. They need to. Maxwell's Demons was great. I hope you're very excited to revisit it with us this week. So we were talking about Carnage. And as we're talking about Carnage, my good buddy Jelani, most of you all know, friends of the show. He's a friend of the show. He's part of the show. So Jelani was out of town, and he picked me this up, which is a Carnage Pop. I've already got the full-on version of it right here. Just the best Carnage Pop ever, because the original one's just repainted Venom, and it's dumb. It's even got a tongue and everything. But yeah, so that it's like this one, but it's the symbiote's coming up on him. So let's open up this pop that my good homie Jelani got for me. So, as you can see, it's the exact same pop. It just happens to have the symbiote coming over his face. Super cool. I like it. I like this one. Like, this was a convention exclusive that my homie got for me. This was the one that was released in stores. So I opted to get this one, but it's super cool to have both of them. I really like them. Jelani, thank you so much for the hookup. Let's put Cletus right back there. And we'll put him right there. So we got that one. That's what we showed off. We got one more thing to show off because I left my Jurassic Park cards in the kitchen. As one does. I'll show those next week. Oh, thank you so much. Like Dedora says, hit that like button, please. Support the channel. Give us a thumbs up. So the other thing that I'm going to be showing off is this awesome turtle van I got this week. But it's not the turtle van that I want, but it is super cool. So I got this one. Little turtle van right there. But what's really cool is it's not just a turtle van. It's the entire animated series. Talking about animated series, no one said Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was one of my absolute favorites when I was growing up. I remember 1987 or 88 or something. I think it was 87. When did it start? I think it was 87. Someone should fact check me, though. But I remember being in like second grade. Every morning at like 7 o'clock, I would watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I absolutely loved it. Great toy line. Great series. This is all 10 seasons. 10? I didn't realize it went on for so long. I already had the first 5 seasons on their respective DVD sets. But now I got the whole thing in a cool turtle van, right? Which leads me to say that I really do want the turtle van toy from back in the day. I had it back in the day. Of course, no longer do. And I definitely got to check it out. Oh, the Ninja Pizza episode of Ninja Turtles was one of my absolute favorites. Shredder has the craziest ideas back in the day, okay? So he's going to start a pizza company. This is the way he's going to get at the Turtles. Instead of just directly going after him, he's going to start a pizza company called Ninja Pizza and trick them that way. Like, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of... Like, you got to set up a business. You got to go get a business license. You got to, like, set up a food distributor. That's a lot of stuff, right? I don't know, Brian, what this runs. I got this at my shop, so I got it directly from a customer. Or a customer sold it to us, and I got it at a used price. But it's out there, and it's awesome. I cannot wait to dive into that. Shredder has read The Art of War, obviously. Absolutely. Yeah, the toy line is super classic. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't have any classic Turtles right now. I passed up recently on a complete collection of Ninja Turtles, or not complete, but the 4 Turtles themselves. They're getting so expensive, but it's definitely something I want to do. Well, I do have a Super Shredder action figure. He's right up there on my villain shelf. It was super cool that Uncle Phil was the voice of Shredder. I thought he was a great voice. He was also the voice of War Machine in that Iron Man series from the 90s on the Marvel Action Hour. Welcome to Ninja Pizza. He does some of the craziest things in those early episodes of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. When Krang kicks him out of Dimension X in the Technodrome. For instance, the Technodrome figure, or the playset, is amazing. I had the sewer playset when I was a kid. My homie... Yeah. My homie George had the Technodrome. I had the sewer playset. We used to play with them together. Super fun. But yeah, there's an episode where Shredder's like spying on the Turtles as they're like in the park. He's like hiding behind a bush or something. It's absolutely ridiculous. The turtle blimp was cool. The problem was keeping the blimp as a blimp, right? I forgot about that hamburger. Home of the nice slice. All right, that brings us to the end of Rockin Robbie Live, I should say. So thank you guys so much for checking out the video. Really do appreciate it. Hitting that thumbs up button, watching the videos. We'll be back coming up very soon. What we got this week? Well, we've got the weekly comic book review coming up late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. We also, of course, have Comics Revisited, Maxwell's Demons. That's right. Comics Revisited Season 2, Episode 3 debuts this Thursday. But if you are impatient, you can jump over to patreon.com/PCP right now, support the channel, and you have access to it right now. We're also going to be doing an advanced review very soon for The Plot #1 by Michael Morisi and Tim Daniel, so be on the lookout for that. I really do appreciate all the support. We thank you so much. David, Alex, David, Adam, Shamaro Cinema, Nelson, Brian, Dean, Jason, Joe, Brian. We really appreciate your support on Patreon. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a wonderful week. I hope you enjoy your life and read some good comic books. And thanks for rocking with us. Keep it going.